It is so important to get outside because when you get outside, you allow your mind to have a perspective shift. Sometimes, like when you're just sitting inside, you're susceptible to repeating patterns. You know what I mean? Doing stuff just because it's the norm, like doing something just because you can. Um, when you start to experience the world outside of you, you start to take off some of those limitations and see the possibilities of life in general. Like sometimes you may say to yourself, like, man, I just wish that I could be immersed in nature, be immersed in paradise, because you're scrolling and you're seeing a video from somebody in Bali, or halfway across the world, and you're like, man, I need a vacation. But sometimes what you need is to get outside and allow yourself to have a break, like allow yourself to see the world around you, experience the world around you. Like just now, I took the time to journal. I took the time to just be out in nature with my dog, and already I feel like I can declare and decree over my life that I'm breaking certain patterns, because I am. You know what I mean? Like, I want more of this. Every day is not going to be the perfect day where the wind is just right and the clouds are beautiful and fluffy and vibrant, but that's not what I want. I just want more moments and more days where I remember that I can ground at any moment. Like at any point in time, I can go and I can ground myself, that I can see life through a very practical lens. You know what I mean? And I think one of the main importance of grounding itself is when you ground yourself, you see how anything is possible, right? Like you see how the things that you were keeping in your imagination, they're actually not that far out of your reach. Maybe you had to experience them on a smaller scale first, but you have to create experiences for your life. You have to be intentional about your life, period. So like, I just find myself today in a space of peace because I'm choosing to ground myself. This is what I want to experience more of. Of course, I want all of the big stuff for my life, and I'm gonna have those things. Like, I have no doubt. Like, and the only reason why I'm able to have no doubt is because I got my ass off that couch and I came outside today. You know what I'm like? You have to put the puzzle pieces together in order to make the puzzle. You get what I mean? Like, so you have to take inspired action. Like today I was inspired, right? I was inspired by the feeling that I knew that I was going to have when I came outside and I experienced nature in its truest, most authentic form. I knew that I was going to curate an experience for myself that was simple but effective, and it worked. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I guess I'm in a space where I am regaining my peace. A lot of things robbed me of my peace, including myself. Ooh, a lot of things made me susceptible to the belief that there was all of these limitations out of nowhere too, right? Like, that's how I knew that it really wasn't me, but I didn't know what to do about it. Like I was like, I know that this is not me. I know that this energy that I'm absorbing and taking in is not mine, but I don't know how to get rid of it. I don't know how to detox from it. Like, I took in so much of it. How do I get rid of it? And I have been returning to the things that make me. Like, for instance, I noticed that I was becoming hard. Like, I was becoming real hard. Okay, look, that's a cicada. It was like, you was a real rough and tough bitch. But like, I was becoming real hard, real jaded, a little bit, a little bitter. You know what I mean? And it was because I felt like I was suffocating, and I felt like I was surrounded by all of this energy that I didn't have control over. Because, as a spiritualist, as a practitioner, I take a lot of pride, and I think a lot of other people who take their spiritual journey very serious can also relate to what I'm saying. I take a lot of pride in being able to have a hold of my shit. Okay, I like to not look like I have it all together. I like to have it all together. And that might be my north node in Virgo, but baby, I don't like when things are out of my control a little bit. And not when it deals with other people, but when it deals with me. Like, I'm not used to, feeling like I don't got good control of Big Mama. Like, I don't care what they doing over there. Big Mama herself ain't feeling too Big Mama-ish. She's feeling real infantilized. She's feeling really, really low. I felt low. And so I noticed that hard shell, it was because I felt like I had to protect myself from so many different things and so many different people that I felt like were trying to rob me of my joy, right? And for a while, I was like, girl, you got to check your paranoia. You're being paranoid, you're spiraling, but that's not what was happening. I was reading into the energies that were around me. I was reading into them accurately, but the problem was there was more of that than there was of me. I couldn't handle this and that and this and that and the other thing. It was too much, And as I've been in my sister circles, as I've been listening to my mentor, I'm realizing that that's just the burden of being a Black woman sometimes. That over-functioning, I can handle it, I got it, I'm big me, And I paid the price dearly for that. Like, I literally paid the price for thinking that I could handle it all when it was too much. It was too much. And when it's too much, sometimes we close ourselves off from receiving support. You know what I mean? Like, I wasn't in tune with my manifestations or my prayers. I honestly was kind of faithless. I was a little bit, it was scaring me. You know what I mean? I had never been in a place in my life where I didn't see God. I didn't. I'm gonna be honest. I was raw dogging life to the fullest. And I didn't really give a fuck, to be honest with you. And so I had never been in a space like that in my life. And I remember like venting to a loved one and expressing that I was afraid that was like me now. That was just gonna be me. And I couldn't, and that's how I knew that it wasn't me. You get what I'm saying? The fact that I was mourning my softness, my compassion, my love, and that's not just how I act, that's who I am. When I was mourning that, when I was grieving that, when I couldn't find that, and I started to just accept that this new version of me was who I was supposed to be, it's just how life is, I knew. I was like, oh yeah, you got to snap out of it. You really have to snap out of it, right? And I have spoken a lot about psychic attacks, spiritual attacks, the spiritual side of things, spiritual warfare. But I think that this was some of the heaviest spiritual warfare that I had ever experienced thus far. And honestly, I put myself in a lot of those positions. I put myself in those positions because I was accepting opportunities, because I was in pure survival. I was accepting certain connections and friendships and familialships and relationships because I was looking for love. I was looking for support. I was looking for me and them. I can admit that, right? But I was searching. I was searching for myself. And I can say present day, after putting my feet in this grass, in detoxing, I went through an immense spiritual detox, okay? I'm not ready to get into the details of what this spiritual detox consisted of, because it's numerous things. Like, y'all, I might just turn a profit out this hoe. You get what I'm saying? Like, I can't, not too much. But just know, I did spiritual detox after spiritual detox after bitch, I'm a warrior, a real gangster, a real spiritual gangster. Like, I'm realizing that about myself. Like, put me amongst the roughest and the toughest, because the process to undo the mess that I had done needs to be studied. The process that I went through to undo the mess that I done did needs to be studied. Can I get an amen? If you have ever been in your own mess and sat there and said, well, I did the shit, I must undo the shit, and you actually undid the shit. I almost used the wrong fingers. The girls, the gays, and the days said, this is not it, baby. It's now that I don't feel right. Is this? Is both? Is this? Is this? I don't know. Anyway, clock that tea. Anyway, so yeah, I went through a spiritual detox, and you know, I know that there was, like, I could feel it, because I feel when things are in my atmosphere. There is probably a few people that are like, damn, what'd I do? Why'd I get removed? Baby, it had less to do with you and more to do with me, because I'm gonna be honest with you, I stopped lying about knowing when things were temporary. Okay, I have a good knowing within myself to know this is about to be temporary, so why prolong it? Why prolong it? You know, or sometimes I can see the outcome and I just rather not put myself through all of that. I'd rather not, you know what I mean, take that journey, because I don't have to, so I didn't, you know. But just know it has more to do with me, you know, less to do with you. Don't take it personal. Maybe at one point, if you kept a pure heart, as I have, maybe one day we'll reconnect. But if you was a hating ass hoe, well, there's your answer. Anyway, yeah, so I have done a lot of spiritual detoxing, and I feel like myself again. I feel like, and you know, like I had somebody tell me, right, that we had started a journey together, and it's been a couple months, and they told me, you are unrecognizable. Like, you are unrecognizable energetically, physically, like, y'all, and I could see it, right? I started to wear the energy that and I mean this, I was forced to be in a particular specific energy for a while, and I started to wear it, because it was wearing me the fuck down. I looked older. My cortisol levels were through the fucking roof. You know what I'm saying? I was wearing that shit bad, like real fucking bad. It was terrible. It was horrific. It was horrifying. I looked in the mirror and I said, what the fuck is that? You know what I'm saying? And feeling like you can't do anything about it. You know what I mean? That is true hell. That's the hell we put ourselves through, because we're always in control of it. It's just at times it's the pressure's gonna feel worser. The pressure is getting worse, and it feels heavy and it feels impossible. But I'm telling you, you can get through that shit. And sometimes you do need support. I'm a big dog. I've always stood on my own ones. I've never really done well in groups. I've never done well in cliques. I've never clicked up well when synced up with people unless I choose to mask myself. So within that, sometimes you need support. You need to seek out people that align with you. You know what I mean? You're in a flow together. And you need to do that together. You need to do that together. And that's what I realized throughout parts of my journey. So there's going to be times, and I'm not wishing this on you, I'm saying more than likely this part of your journey is to come and be at some point in your life. There's going to be times where you feel like you are losing your mind. You feel like you are losing every sense of yourself and every bit of your identity. And within that, you start to act out and jump out of character, because you don't know who you are at that time. And you're really like, I'm with all the shits. I don't know who I am. And I'm going to show you how I can be, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you start to feel like that. So I'm providing you confirmation that, like, you're not losing your mind. You're going through a point in your journey where you have to decide. I had to choose who I wanted to be. I could have stayed being a big dog. I know a thing or two. I know how to be a real, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I know how to be that. I don't want to be that. I don't want to wear that. I'm not saying that's not me, as in, like, I understand that that's my shadow, but I don't want to operate in my shadow all the time. That's exhausting. I want to operate in my shadow. I want to operate in my shadow when necessary. That's all. That's it. I want to be me all the rest of the time. So, it's been beautiful. It's been chaotic. It's been so many things, but I can say that I'm grateful to be here right now, to be in a space where I can put my feet in the grass and know that I am me, and all of the energies that were attacking me and that I was absorbing and that I was willingly choosing to be are no longer in my atmosphere. And I am free and I am liberated.